All right, so before we start pairing, right, I'm gonna go over a couple of rules that we need to remember about triangles, right? And circles and things as well. So firstly, if I give you something like this, right? That's not, here's what? Here's what's the total angle between north and east? Between east and here. And this total here is how much? Nice. How much is from south to west again? So this total here is how much? And then here's 90 again. So the entire thing here is 36. All right. So I just want you to remember that. And next thing I also want you to remember is let's say I gave you here is north, right? And I said, okay, well, I want from the north in a clockwise direction, average 60 degrees. Where will that be? Here to here is 90, right? So 60 is somewhere in between here. If I start at north and I measure 60, it might be somewhere there. Here is 60 degrees. Everybody okay with that? And if here is 60, how much is here? 30. Right? Because here to here is 90. Everybody okay with that? These simple things we need to remember because when you draw your diagram, you put in all the angles. Every single angle you can find, you put it in. Everybody okay with that? Right? Third thing I want you to remember is that if I gave you something like this, let's do it like this first. Two parallel lines subtended by a chord. Here's X. What do we know about here? X as well, right? So once you form this Z, Ethan, once you form this Z, these opposite angles, these opposite angles here equal. That's okay? Here will be equal to here. Right? So once you form this Z, these two angles here equal. Now look at this here. Let's say I said to average let's say I ask you to average 120 degrees. Where will you stop? You're starting at the north. 120 degrees is where? 90. How much more again? 90 and how much you make 120? 30, right? So it means up until here is 120. Right? In our bearing diagrams, we try to estimate where the angles are. Okay? So if here is 120, how much is here? How much is that? 60, right? Good. Now, what would happen if I draw next at the cardinal points right here? North, and same south and everything. Right? If here is 60, how much is here? How much? 60. You're seeing why? These two are parallel and they form the little Z here. They form the Z. See that? Anyways, you're seeing that? Yeah? So here and here equal.
So yes.
Huh? What one? Oh yeah. We can do this. Don't worry with that. There is some angles. So get it from that up now. All right. The first part is like 360. So let's not go down. All right. Right. So you're okay with this? So I want you to recognize that this line and this line parallel. Right? So if here is 60, here is 60. How much should be here, Chamal? If here is 60, how much is here? 30. Very good. So what we're going to practice when we do parents is that we're going to put in all the possible angles. Okay? So we have a nice big label diagram and then we apply the rules from last week. All right? So let's make a note of those things. If you know it and easy, well, you know what to write. Right, the most important thing I want you to remember is this diagram here. Right, this is what we're getting into. Right, I want you to be able to average where your angles are, and if one is 60, be able to figure out the rest. Okay. Copy it down, and then let's focus on variance now. I'm gonna ready. All right, yeah. Ready? So nice. So how do we draw bearings? Bearings are always drawn, right? What we learning, Kahoot? Right? Bearings are always drawn from the north in a what? Right? In a clockwise direction. So every time we do bearings, we always start at the north and go in a clockwise direction. Right? And we'll start with an easy example. All right. So make a note of that, and then we're going to try this first example again. The bearing of B from A is 75 degrees. Right? So we're going to do it step by step, right? Are you ready? So what's here? How do we start? First thing first, we draw little cardinal points here, and we always tell them where is north, right? And bearings are always what? From the north in a clockwise direction. But we need to know what letter we starting at. So take a little read here and tell me what letter you think we starting at. B or A? Right? Was the key word? From. Right? The bearing of B from. So we starting from what? Starting here, right? So we starting at A. So we starting at A and we're going to B at a bearing of 75. How do you measure bearings? From north in a clockwise. So I'm starting right here and I'm going to average where 75 degrees is. Here's 90, so 75 might be just close to it. That's okay? What do you do where you stop? Right where you stop, you draw a line from the middle to where you stop. And you come all the way here. And when you stop, drawing that line, that represents the point. Everybody okay with that? Yeah? What's the angle here again? From here to here? 75. What's the angle underneath? 90 minus 75, which is 50. All right? Nice. Copy it down. That's example 1.
Actually.
Right? Let's try these two together in one diagram. Okay? So this is 2 part 1 and let's call this 2 part 2. So we're gonna try to put them in one diagram, right? What's for a minute? Look up here for a minute. So P is due east of R. Where do we start? R, right? Keyword again is of. So we start in here. So P is due east of R. So we starting at R. This point here represents R. All right? So where east? East is here, right? Jamal? East is here, right? So we're going this way, and that will take us to P. Okay with that? Anybody confused? Right? Watch it again. P is due east of R, so it means that we starting at R. Question said what? East, right? So therefore, all we have to figure out is where is east, and we go east towards T. That's okay?
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that? On that same diagram now, here's what they said. On that same diagram, what they said is S is due south of P. On that same diagram, they said S is due south of P.
Right, please.
Yeah. S is due south of P. So Sebastian, where do you think we started? S is due south of P. What letter we starting at? At? Very good. So we starting here. Everybody okay with that? So we starting right here and we do the same cardinal points thing. Where we going? We're going south, and that will take us to what? S. Everybody okay with that? Post Malone. Post Malone. Suppose I close this shape up. Right? Suppose I close this shape up. Something like this. What did I form? What type of triangle? Right angle. So y'all see how bearings could go into triangles, right?
Yes.
Yeah? So we're gonna be doing that in a little while. Okay? So if I close this up, we're gonna with a right angle triangle, and we have to use all the right angle rules. All right? Copy it down. Let's go again. First part of the class is being able to explore the diagram. Copy down. Let's try. Go ahead.
Yeah, just taking online here.
Have you go online? No. Some of them is them kids next door there, so you gotta watch out, right? Like all these long names is the kids next door. Kanisha next door is full time. Who else there? Scroll down. I don't way to put in the name Alyssa or Ethan, right? He could come down some Fanny, Kanisha. Yeah, you need to learn the kids. So, you know what? Watch us. You see our name from here? If our name not there,
Yeah.
you seen it here, means a full time. So do what they mean. Okay? All right, let's go again. Pardon me. All right, then. All right, let's go again. Try this. Take your time. B is on a bearing of 40 degrees from A. C is on a bearing of 120 from B. All in one diagram. Right? So take it from one point to the next, and then to the next one. This one is angles, right? If you're confused, just stop. I'll show you. I will show you. Okay. So write it down. Right? Whenever you join a diagram, you must have a nice large diagram, right? Don't make it small. Please join pencil. That's it, right? All right, let's go. Ready? So tell me where we starting. We starting at E, right? Most important word here, from, so we starting here. So we starting here, let's say that's like that. We starting at E. Here is north. Right? And how we going? Clockwise direction until we reach in 40. So we reach 40, right? So we starting here, 40 is about there, halfway, right? That can work. And what do we do now? Center to where we stop. We go up, and that will take us to the point B. Right? Now, I'll put that after, right? Now this said C is on a bearing of 120 from B, Dimitri. From where? From B. So we're going from B, here's B. And what we doing? 120. And we starting at B, right? Look at where I'm drawing it again. I'm starting up here. Right? Starting from north and I'm going up clockwise direction. 90, 120. Right? Yeah? So 120 is about right here. Draw my line. I don't know where C is, so I'll just stop it right here. Here is 120, here is 40. Here's my problem. I want to get all my angles. All right? So, Vishish, if here is 40, how much is here? Here is 40, how much is here? 50?
No, I just taken rule here.
Pravin, unmute your mic, right? Yeah. Huh? So a little while ago, I showed you if you draw a line here and a line here, and the parallel. Here and here, what? Equal. I show you the same thing here, right? Here and here equal. So if here is 40, how much is here? Amen. Right? Right? And what about this last piece here? Nico, what's this last part here? Yeah.
60.
Are you okay with that? Because here to here is 180. Yeah? So this whole angle is 180. So if here is 120, the remaining is 60. So this whole angle here is 100. Right? Watch it again. Right? Watch it again, right? Here is 40. So here is also 40. Are you okay with that? Opposite angles equal, right? Opposite angles equal, right? Here's 40, here's 40. This is a straight line here. So from here, this entire thing is 180 degrees. Right? So if here is 120, here will be this little piece here will be 180 minus 120, which is 60. You okay with that? So now, if here is 60 and here is 40, the whole angle is 100. Ethan? You okay with that? Ethan online? You okay with that? Jack one? Yeah? All right. You okay with part 1 and 2? Right? And again, I could close this up here and form a non-right angle triangle. Huh? I lost some. Take a video there, come on. You want to learn?
I don't want to video.
Huh? Why? There, record it. B is on a bearing of 40 from me. So you're starting from me. Right? And you measure 40 degrees. You always will average it. Average from north in a clockwise direction, 40 degrees. And you draw. C is on a bearing of 120 from B. So you go at B now. And you're doing 120. Here's 90. A little more than 90 is 120. So if here's 120, you stop there or you reach C. Nice. Here's 40, here will be 42. That's this rule here. Right? And then the remainder is 60 because this is 180. One more. One more. And then we're gonna review cosine. Well, not review. You're gonna practice a cosine and sine rule. I can bring someone in. All right, join this one. I'll bring somebody to do it. All right. Take your time, put this one together, and I want somebody to come and join for me. I just want to do a quick video. Huh? Put all the answer first. But the thing is what we learn, yeah? Average we're 214 P, right? Oh yeah, put it together, take your time. Huh? No, why is it P? It's all Q. B. We. How that? Great line. It's a this. Yeah, and then to the next one. Why is that? Get that. There's nothing, it's not again. Right. Wasn't nothing about that. There's not much that. You. Right, now I gotta figure out the next one. Right, so you gotta figure out now. What you want to put from north to north. Clockwise. Right, take it back, start up north. Let's go 240 here. Right, ready? Want to do it? Right, I don't want to see a diagram with no angle. I want to see where it's 240 and 90. I want to see all the possible angles together. Put all the angles. Right, so we start at north, right? We identify we starting at Q and we going east. Right? Oh yeah. When you reach here, you start all over again, right? When you reach here, that is the P. You do your cardinal points, that's north. We could call that point P. Everybody okay with that? And then you apply the rule again. Right? R is 240 from P. Try it quick. Here's 90, right? I just put in all the angles so I don't get anything wrong. Here's 90. Oh yeah. I just passing around to watch here. I just passing around to watch your 240 and your angle. People have the 240 but angles missing. Okay, that's not cancel, right? Right now, diagram, now looking back. All right, so let's see, 240 degrees. So you're starting at north, 90, 180, 240. So I stop in there and I join my line down. Here is 240 degrees, and here is the remainder. If here is 240, it means that here is 30. And we will stop at R. And I could draw that, and I could connect them here if I have to. I look like Michael diagram. All right, that's the diagram. Next example, we're gonna put it all together now and do a question. Online, all okay with diagrams? All okay? All right, let's push on. All right, next one. Next one here, I'm gonna give you a scenario and we're gonna do question. Right? What will normally happen in a we're gonna make it too easy. Yeah, gotta show this. Can we see that in the back? Yeah, that's nice for you. Right, take a little read and I want you to put this diagram together. On this diagram, you'll have angles and you'll also have length. Right. Put it together. Put it together and we are going to please show your lengths as well, right? Show your lengths as well.
You will find also.
Right, put your diagram together and put the angles on your length. Put that here. Just to draw. Calculation, that's it. We are going to calculate. Today we just practice in the drawing and we'll do one calculation. Okay, number two. Done. I take your time, start at the right point. They kind of guide you already. You're going R, S, T. Okay? Try it quick. So you're starting at R, you're going to S and going to T. Can't see, but you can look at it. Right, again, if we close it, it should form a nice triangle, right? Most likely non-right angle.
So how you go with the T?
Huh?
How you go with the stop T? It's after T, right?
Average, yeah, that average is where it should go. Right, but don't ever assume it forms like a horizontal or vertical line.
Yes. Don't need to be. So.
Right, so we're going R to S T. S is on a bearing of 112. So it's 112, 112 to S. And from S, you're going to T. Right, you're going R to S to T. They told us that RT is 75 and RS is equal to 56. I'm gonna start with just now, right? For those who finish, make sure all your angles are there. They want us to find angle RST, RTS, and then a bearing, right? Find all your possible angles. Can I try that now? What is that?
So for the bold eyes, that's 5-7, that's not.
Huh?
That's
RS to T. Oh yeah, that's not it. All right, let's see if we get it. All right, let's see if we got it, right? So we're going from R to S to T. So we're starting right here. Right? We're starting right here. This is your north. This point here is your R. Right here, R. Right? So what they said is on a bearing of what? 112, right? So we're going to average 112. Here is 90. Up to here is 90. And here is about 112, right? And I join my line. That will take me to S. Everybody okay with that? Before you do anything, put in the angles and lengths you have. Here is 112, that's 112. So how much is here? 68, right? You put the wrong thing. Everybody okay with that? 180 minus 112, here is 68. Everybody okay with that? Right? Yeah, you can put a small angle, but we might need it as yet. Everybody okay with that? So you went R to S. Now at S, they said to go to T on a bearing of 33 degrees. Right? So we're doing the same thing again, right? What we're doing here? We're setting up the cardinal points. Here is north. What's the angle we need to get? 33. So in order to reach T, 33 degrees. So I'm going to average 33 degrees, right? About that. Here, and I'm going to draw. It don't really matter where you stop, but try not to stop and make this line horizontal. Make it look horizontal. Go a little bit higher or below, right? They told us R to S is 56 kilometers, and R to T. Oh, we don't have T as yet. T is right here. R to T is here. R to T is 75 kilometers. Right here is 33 degrees. How much is here? Because here and here equal, right? So here is 68. So this whole angle here is how much? 101. Who get lost there? You get lost? Right? Let's start over. So the question said, we go in R to S to T. I only wrote down the important stuff, right? So you're going R to S to T. So you're starting at R and you're going 112 to S. All okay with that? So I'm starting at R. How do we measure bearings? Bearings are always from the north in a clockwise direction. So I measured clockwise. Here is 90 and I average 112 to be around there. If here is 112, I know here to here is 68. Right? How I know that? 180 minus this will give me that. So I reach here and I draw my line connecting the middle to the top there and I stop in here. You okay with that? Yeah? So I went R to S. Now that I'm at S, I go in S to T. Right? On a bearing of how much? 33. So on a bearing of 33, right? So I'm starting at north. This is north. And I'm going in a clockwise direction, 33 degrees. And I go up and I meet with T's. I just draw a line to connect it up and create my triangle. Here is 33. If here is 68, here is also 68. Add it up, you get 101. You okay with that? Yeah. So the first part of the question, they asked us to find RST. RST. So RST is 68 plus 33, which is 101. Everybody okay with that? Jamal? Sure. Next question is for you, huh? Next one is for you. They want us to find angle RTS. How we find an RTS? We don't have enough angles to do that.
That's the
Which one? Here? And then if you have here, what are you equal to? No, but it's not horizontal. If it was horizontal, you could have said that, but it's not, right? How is it?
Oh, so
But I don't know what is right inside now. I don't know. Right? Jogging mine back to last week. Jogging mine back to last week now. This and this is the exact same thing. Right? So jogging mine back to last week, Ethan. Right? Two angles here. One of the sizes. Here.
oh, the next.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here might be 20. Here.
Yeah.
Say it again. This whole angle is 22. How you get that? Because you have an extra piece here. Right? You have an extra piece. Here to here is 22. So we can't use that. But if you have something like this, based on what we did last week, we have length, opposite angle, length, opposite angle. Which rule is that? Sine rule. So can we use sine rule to work it out? So now we could use sine rule. All right. So we're going to use sine rule. Why, Jamal? Because we have length, opposite angle, length, opposite angle. Right, Sebastian? So you have to remember that, right? Isn't it? For sine rule again. A over sine of is equal to B over sine. All right. Copy down. We have one more diagram to do. Huh? You? This is 101. Right, for those who knew, I'll send a link to the video on this, right? So you'll look it over. Right? Let's look over cosine and sine. Right? Or look if you got whoever you make sure you give them a number so you add to the WhatsApp group. Or you leave that. Right? Right? Make sure you add to the group today. Right? Because of time, I'm just gonna jump in. A is the length, so it's 56 over sine of the angle. 75 over sine of the angle. Two fractions equal sine. What do? Cross multiply, right? So we're going to get 75 sine theta. It's 56 sine 101, right? Cross multiply. Now, sine theta is equal to 56 sine 101 over 75. Move across 75, it becomes divide. What's the last step? What's the last step to get theta? Move across what? Move across sine. Move across sine, and you'll get sine inverse. For those who forgot, please go over your rules, right? Because we're going to be using it more next week. Both sine and cos, right? What's that it? What's sine inverse? When is press now? Next week, right? How much is this? 46.9. Huh? Yeah, 46.9. Right, we have one more. I want to check the diagram and then it will leave. Do I really calculation, right? Copy down the working and that's one more diagram. Don't see enough? Right, just be part on the top of them. I did best I could do there. Try that fast. If boat leaves its dock at A and travels a distance 15 to a point B on a bearing of 135. The boat then changes course on a bearing of 6. All I want is the diagram. Do I read that? All I want to see is the diagram. And point B. And travel the distance. You know the angle. I have to diagram fast, yeah. Ready? All I want the diagram, right? Then change the 6. Yeah. Well, you're missing an angle. Most people are what so far missing the angle next to 60. I mean, yeah, 60. Yes, we were. It would leave it. Point P to travel the distance between the without point B and there. That's more to which one to find. Because one to find. I guess that's something. So, the next thing, probably. Well, your point. Right. But then. We have. One second. Alright, let's see. Last thing, right? You're done? Right, now fix the next one. Going another. Now fix the next one. Go on, they're going up. So you know the angle, right? Listen the next one. You're almost up with it. One more line and you're done. Online, you can take a pic of your diagram and send it from the right. That is, you gotta do a flip one day, you know what? Or they go online and I'll bring all them input. You gotta do a flip one. Average 60, right? Average of 60. All right, let's see what you got. Oh no, my friend. You have 1 minute 30. Right? So what you need here, Bishish, is all the angles. You have all the angles? All right, nice. Good try. All right. Okay, I'll start right here. Right, so I'm starting right here. That's my notes. I am starting at what letter? 8. And I'm going 135 degrees. So I'm going down like that. That is 135. Right? Then I'm drawing my line. So can see that. I'm drawing the line. Right? When I reach here, I draw my cardinal point. That firstly. Right? The cardinal point don't want to be too big. There's 135, and that took us down to B. Now C is on a bearing of 60. So the average where 60 is, here is about 60. Right? But I want you to remember something. If here is 135, here is 45. So here should be 45. And the whole angle is how much? 105. And when it takes it to C, you draw a line and connect it up. Okay? And we have AB. Which one was 8? AB was 8. So AB was? So here is 15 kilometers and here is 8 kilometers. Right? Before you go, we have 2 lengths and the angle in the middle. Which rule we using? Say that one after. Vishish. 2 lengths and the angle in the middle. What did we use to find here? 2 lengths and the angle in the middle. Cosine rule. Alright? Okay. So next day we're gonna do more diagrams and do the actual calculations now. Okay? Olia, when is it not Thursday? So the next week, week after. What day is that? No, the following week. So this is the 8th, the 15th, and right. Alright, that's enough time. I don't like to stop. I miss a class in the middle of a topic. Alright, online. That's it there. So next day we look at calculating and working this stuff out, right?